Kendrick Lamar has no right to question Drake's blackness. I really hate that I'm defending Drake right now, but I gotta call a thing a thing. K-Dot, baby, your wife is just as whitewashed as Drake is. Be fucking for real. Your wife has a white mother and is just as far removed from the black community as Drake is. If we're being honest, in terms of phenotype, Drake actually looks more black than your wife does. Your wife does not look black at all. She just looks like a woman of color. I noticed that with biracial women, y'all always want to call them black, but then want to switch it up when it comes to biracial men. I don't like that shit. Your wife actually has more in common with Drake than she does with you. She has a white mother just like Drake. She did not grow up with her father. She has no ties to the black community, and she struggled with her identity just like Drake did. Not only that, Kendrick Lamar lied and said that he loves dark-skinned women. Meanwhile, he's been married to a biracial light-skinned woman the whole time. Like, girl, your wife is the female equivalent of the person that you're dissing, so stop trying to act like you so down for the community. It's the hypocrisy for me. I just don't like that shit. Stop playing both sides of the fence. I know we don't like Drake, but Kendrick Lamar be pandering to the black community too, if we're being honest.
Kendrick's wife is not biracial, and even if she was, that's not the fucking point. To get it out the way, her father is full black, her mother is biracial, which means that she's only a quarter whatever the hell else she got going on in there. She's absolutely light-skinned. If you want to have conversations about possible colorism, I guess, that came up with her in the early 2010s, we could, but she's not biracial. Importantly, they're high school sweethearts. They're both from Compton. Kendrick's critique of Drake is not merely that he's biracial. Kendrick's critique of Drake has two things in it. It has a lot of things in there, but let's get to the main point. You are not African American, period, and you did not grow up around black people. Now, yes, technically Drake's father is African American, I believe. I believe Dennis is from the US. But Drake, by his own admission, did not grow up around his father, and he grew up in Canada. Again, by Drake's own admission, his black family is in Memphis. Kendrick is saying is that your upbringing is white and Canadian. Biracial people who are raised by their white family can still have a black cultural experience based on their environment. Even if Drake did have a black cultural experience, it would be a black Canadian culture experience. Kendrick's assertion is that it is a caricature of black men from Houston, from sometimes Memphis, but really more Atlanta, that Drake has created to combat the lack of a black cultural experience growing up. Because J. Cole just acts like an N-word from North Carolina. But if he started acting like a roadman from the UK or acting like someone from Toronto, that would be alarming because it's not authentic to his experience. That is the point. That is the point.
We got rap beef. We got rap beef. BBL, Drizzy, K-Dot, everybody going in, and we talking about it too. But you already know we coming at it from totally different lenses, totally different angles. And we're gonna surprise the hell out of y'all with some of the stuff that we're saying, because we know right now some of y'all trying to be the blackest person in the room. Y'all trying to be brother and sister righteous. Y'all trying to be brother and sister right on. Y'all trying to be brother and sister black man and black woman right now. Like the first young lady in the clip. You thinking too hard about this. You really thinking too hard about this. But hey, Joseph Ward, Professor Carl, Tone Jones, Patrick Irby, we're here to break down what's going on. Is this rap beef or this just something? But also, we want to look at it from many different angles of what's going on, because this is one of the most entertaining and probably the greatest back and forth rap beef that we've ever seen in the history of hip hop. But what it also is doing, it's bringing up a lot of issues and shining a lot of lights on the black community. If you already in the know, then this is nothing new to you, right? But if you're not in the know, if you're a newbie, if you're a greenhorn, then welcome to the club. You're finna learn some things about black people, right? You're finna learn some things about black people that you might not like, but it's gonna rip the Band-Aid off and pull back the veil so we can authentically start to see ourselves for who we truly are and what we can actually truly be, right? So that's what I love about this beef is, we talk about black culture. We get to open up on black culture, but we also get to open up on how goddamn accommodating and welcoming black people are. Mm-hmm. So we have to talk about that. But before we get into all of that, let's deal with what the young ladies was talking about in the clip. So PC, I'm gonna start with you. The dark-skinned young lady is basically saying that Kendrick Lamar is pandering to the black community, calling out Drake for being biracial, but also Drake's fake portrayal of being down with the black culture. And she's saying, well, how you gonna call Drake out when your wife is biracial? But then the other chick in the video come back and say, well, nah, she ain't biracial. She like a quarter white and all these things here. But just the overall conversation, how did this rap beat has sparked a larger conversation about race, colorism, and how black people see themselves and who's seen as authentically black, but also what the we are doing and what we're not doing with our culture. So what are your thoughts on the first two clips? Because I have another clip that we're going to get to, but I want to talk about this first before we transition into
that. It's amazing the hills we choose to die on.
I'm just saying, sometimes be your ass quiet.
The ways we get, it's like the what triggers our triggers in terms of what we want to sit down and actually make and politicize as an issue.
She was real hard too,
bruh. She, and how we try to make that, what I'm saying, bro, we try to bring some importance to that. I think is wild and crazy, because first of all, we're both for the young ladies. The fact that we want to sit up here and try to speak to somebody's blackness when we as a culture have not really truly defined what blackness is astounding to me. The fact that we're still sitting here trying to determine even what we want to call ourselves at this late day and age. And then, to take it way back to the quatroon and octoroons and, establishments in terms of how black are you based on, your lineage and things of that nature. It's a little, I don't know, it's a juvenile argument. I mean, the conversation about whether Drake is culturally appropriating black culture in America because he's from Canada is really
he not right. You can't appropriate people culture who just say here, have it.
We can't appropriate people culture who don't really have a definition of what their culture is, like a defined understanding of who they are. And culture is about norms. Culture is about your roots. Culture is about your more ways, your folk ways. And we don't have, we like to freestyle that shit, especially when because culture includes boundaries. You safe keep culture, and you also your culture actually talks about your culture actually sort of it basically is the prerequisite to how you function in society. And we don't do that shit at all.
No, PC. We are the culture.
Well, what does that mean?
That means that we are the culture, and then other people like our stuff, so they try to be like us because we are the culture. And if you are the culture, then cultures want to be culturally like you, because cultural appropriation is bad when you are the culture. But culturally, if you really think about it, culture is culture, but it's not really culture, but it is culture if you are the culture.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. Well, thanks for clearing that up.
No, but that's what I'm hearing when people say we are the culture and then give no context to it.
Yeah, that's just like saying I'm the table. You know what I'm saying? When people ask you what you bring to the table, well, I am the table. It's just, okay, you can't answer the question. Why don't you just, go with that then?
You the whole relationship by yourself. Okay.
Right. And here's what it is, right? Black people don't have an identity. We don't know who we are. So in our even like we doing a professional development, which took me back to some work that I was doing with children in high school, over the 15 years ago, right? Asking the question of who you are. And we went around and the sister went around the room asking black professionals. It wasn't just black professionals in the room, but the room was 90% black. And she identified the fact that do you realize that when I asked you who you are, many of you led with your titles, your degrees, and your positions and so forth. And, it's basically the same thing what happened when I asked the young people, who you are. Now, the Asian children could tell you, I'm Taiwanese. We do this and other Latin children, I'm half Mexican, half Puerto Rican, boom, boom, boom. And the black children, the girls, I'm a hairstylist, and the black kids, I'm a basketball player, or I'm real good at sex. They call me Horace. That literally was a response from one of the young brothers. And
he said they call him Horace.
Yeah, that's what he literally said. They call me horse. Um, and it's like that. And I said, well, see, the irony is y'all don't know who you are. And that's the same thing is now. So your positions and your titles become who you are because you've never taken a deep dive into who you are, where you're from, what's your roots. Never taken a deep dive into understanding your blackness. In fact, everything you've done is to escape your blackness. So you try to do everything. I'm a this, I'm a that. We'll see it in the comments. You're not black, that's a crayon. You're a Moor, or you have, indigenous, this, that, and the other. Everything except for who we are. And because of that, we don't center being black and
Black American.
defining what black is. Definitely Black American, and defining what that means for us. It's not for anybody outside of us to define what that is. It's for us to define that by creating normative behaviors. Like we have the code of conduct with PACS. When we have that the codified way of behaving, that's how you start to develop your culture. We don't have a codified way of behaving. We don't have a codified way of dealing with each other. You ask 10 black people in the same room, separately about what it means to be black, you're going to get 10 separate answers. Okay. Right. So to talk about somebody is culture vulturing our culture because they're from Canada or for whatever, or because they might be you might have parents and both parents are not black. It speaks against the true understanding of what culture is. You can't accuse somebody of vulturing something that you do not identify with consistently.
We serve that we serve it up on the platter.
Right. And then you want to be inclusive with it. So everybody gets to be a part of it, because the same ones that say that about these rappers going back and forth and identifying as which, what, and the other, will be the same ones to invite somebody to the goddamn picnic or to the barbecue. So
and context, because we are the overall conversation is this come from the rap beef between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, and within one of the bars on some of the songs, Kendrick Lamar basically was like, Drake, I hate you're using black culture to become somebody. You're using black culture to be down. You're always gravitating to the worst parts of black culture. Your blackness is in question. Like within the bars, you're black, but that's what you're supposed to do when you beefing. You're supposed to pull a card. You're supposed to put stuff on the table. You're supposed to have some of these aha wow moments. So I get that within the context of the beef. I don't get this young lady listening to this and then her feelings getting hurt. That right there, I'm not getting that. I'm not getting why she felt like that was important to kind of go that and run with that. Within the context of a rap battle, both men are trying to best each other. We don't understand that.
It's not even just her. You got The Root writing about it and the same thing, talking about it being misogynoir and all this other stuff.
No, it's not.
Like people, it's amazing what people will politicize in the black community regarding entertainment and things of that nature. But you live in a community where the cost of food has doubled over the last 2 years. We're not politicizing that conversation.
These are the same women who sit there and watch the housewives beat on each other and cuss each other out and don't have a problem with it. Stop being hypocritical. And that's the main thing about this rap beef is a lot of people are being hypocritical. I like rap beefs. I've always liked rap beefs, and I'm gonna continue to like rap beefs. I'm all up in it. I like this. I ain't gonna lie to it. But that doesn't mean that I'm blinded or I'm biased to what may be going on around this or from this or even in the world because of this, right? So, but it's let's not bring the hypocrisy into this. Let's not be the ones who you support the bullshit on this side, But when it comes to this, oh, because he called them out on some colorism or on some fake black stuff within a rap beef, now you want to get mad and breathing all hard in your microphone and, oh man, well, Kendrick Lamar, you're pandering to, it's rap beef, lady. What about that dude? The problem goes when they cross the line and it start to get physical and people's real life start to get messed up. That's when the problem happens. But this has always been a part of hip hop, to try to see who's the best because of the lyrics. If you don't like the genre, you don't like the genre. That's one thing. But don't be all up in here, you loving hip hop, you loving all the other going out, and then you hear this line and now you want to breathe hard into your microphone. Get the hell on, man.
Yeah, that's it. Like I said, man.